Good. Hello. Am I
Yeah,
audible?
Harshada. Yes,
Yashika?
yes, yes, you are
Okay.
audible,
Good
Harshada.
afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. I'm Harshada. So I think we should start or we should wait.
Sure,
Yeah,
it's your wish. It's your wish. I see that
we
we are
should
already
wait.
live now.
Yeah, we should wait and then we can start in just 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I guess we should start.
Okay, Harshada.
Yeah. You can on your videos. Actually, I have some net problem here, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
won't
sure.
be able to on the
Okay,
video.
no,
Okay.
okay, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, so hello everyone. This is Yashika Gupta, a member of Girl Up She United. Today, Girl Up again brings a very special session on how to make a career in web development with a very special guest, Mr. Madhav Bhal. My co-host Harshita Garg, and whole Girl Up community heartily welcome you, sir, for joining us today. So let's start the webinar by just introducing yourself to our audience.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Yashika and Harshita, for calling me. It's absolutely a pleasure, and you guys are doing great job. It's really good work that you guys are doing. So keep it up. So yes,
Thank you,
let's
sir.
get started. Today we are going to discuss how to make a career in web development. It's going to be something from scratch. I'm going to tell you what all things that you need to do when you are completely a beginner, and then what all opportunities you can have, and then what all things are waiting you in this career. And then if you are going to look forward, like if you're going forward and getting into the advanced technology, then what you should be learning in, let's say, 2020, and the remaining ones in 2020 and in 2021. So yes, I'm super excited for it, and I hope you guys are as well. So yes, if you have any doubt and or any question that you want to ask me, you can just put it up in the chat section. I will keep having a look at it, and I can answer it at that time itself, or maybe we can take it at the end also. But yes, if you want, you can, like, as soon as you have any doubt in this anywhere in this webinar, you can ask me anywhere. So let's keep it an interactive session instead of just one way communication, and let's get started. So about me, Yashika has already introduced me for this. So thanks a lot, Yashika. So I'm just another guy who's into development, tech blogging, self-help,
Thank you.
blogging, podcasting, mentoring, teaching, and startup communities, community building, and most of all, still exploring life. So yes, but why should you listen to me? Because I've been into web development from more than 3 years now. I've explored various technologies like uh, normal vanilla JS, then React JS, Angular, a little bit of Angular, Node JS, a lot of tech stacks like MERN and Mean stacks, and so on. So yes, do feel free to have ask any question that you have in between. All right. So if you want to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram using this handle. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook as well. You can read my blogs at on Medium, and of course, do follow me on GitHub. It's Hacktoberfest going on, and I'm starting lots of new open source projects. I'll be working on them very very slow because I get time on weekends only. But yes, we can make some real cool things. So yes, let's get connected on GitHub as well. All right. So I see a lot of people are saying hi. So hi everyone, and thanks a lot for joining. So today we are going to discuss these four things, like why should you go for a career in web development, then a proper roadmap for you if you are new to web development and if you want to get started for it, and then the technologies for 2020 and 2021, like which all technologies are super cool and into the market right now, and then we can have an open discussion, anything that you want to ask me, and a real open discussion. So yes, let's get started. So first of all, if you have if you want to see this slides, you can always visit this madhavbahl.tech/webdev hyphen webinar, and you can find the slides anytime on this particular link. So yes, also there's an article associated with this particular webinar. If you want, you can read this article as well. But this will be there on the slide, so you can go about it anytime. All right, so before starting, so if you have been attending my webinars, this is the common slide which I have in any webinar, and I don't get tired of speaking about it because it's really, really important. So why not just online courses, and why not just college classes? Why there's the need of this meetups and webinars and conferences and online events? Because you get a chance to discuss about new trends and topics. You find like-minded people, you network with them. Even in this virtual environment, you can, like, all the people who are commenting, that they can like put up the link to their LinkedIn profiles, and you can connect with them. You can add a personal note while connecting to them, that hey, I was attending this session by Madhav today, and you were also there, let's get connected on LinkedIn, and so on. So increase your network. As they say, that your network is your net worth. And then you can ask queries anytime. Like, you can find like-minded people out here who will be there to help you out. Like, I'm here. If you have any doubt, you can just ask me anytime, and I would definitely try my best to help you out. Even Yashika is there, Harshita is there. So yes. All right. So this is the common let's say roadmap for web development. Generally, whenever you are starting web development, people are going to tell you that start off with a little bit of front end, then make your choice whether you want to continue with front end or whether you want to move to back end, and a little bit of try out a little bit of CI/CD and DevOps as well. So yes, why web? Basically, before we start everything, whatever you do, no matter what you are doing, you should always have this clear answer to why. Why are you doing this? So there are many reasons that you should go for web development, because it's a very marketable skill, and you can use this particular skill to generate a very good side income as well, and plus you can make it your main profession as well. It's First of all, it's not at all limited to college degree. Even a school student can learn web development. It's not at all difficult. Plus, it's a very very marketable skill. Second thing, you don't require any high-end softwares or high-end hardwares. Only a laptop and a good internet connection. Even if it's not good, just a laptop and an internet connection are the bare bones requirement for your web development environment. So in Android development, let me tell you a story. So when I was in my college, in my second semester, when I was starting off with development, I actually went on to learn Android development, but my laptop did not support me. So I had a sort of low spec machine, and it was real pain because I could not do anything. I just ended up wasting 2 or 3 months just exploring, just trying to build my Android project. But then someone suggested me to move to web development, and that's where I started my journey in web development. And I found that no high-end spec is required. Just a normal laptop and an internet connection is good enough to get started with web development, and that's the beauty of web development. And then earn as you learn. So even if you're a learner, even if you just know HTML, CSS and JavaScript, the basics of it, you can still get some freelance projects, even if you know Bootstrap. So by in the meantime, like as you are learning, you can just start applying for freelance projects, and mm, wherever you are at, according to your skills, you can get projects according to it. For example, right now, let's say I know React.js, you can apply for React.js projects and on freelance projects. So yes, the best thing about web development is earn as you learn, and then build applications which you dreamt of. Like it gives you like I always say that coding is the power that gives you this like it's a magic that gives you the power to actually realize your dreams, to manifest your dreams. Let's say I had a dream of making a website that can do this and this. Everything is possible in the world of web development. Anything, like any sort of animation, it the like anything that you want to, anything that you all might have ever dreamt of, it is possible. So yes, and the next thing, freelance entrepreneurship or job, like you can apply for these things. Like the best thing is for entrepreneurship, like let's say if you have an idea, you can just build a portal around it and get started. If you know have the knowledge of web development, you can do a lot of things. And that does not stop here, there's more to it. If you have the knowledge of web development, you can actually build mobile apps as well. So that's the future of web development. Not the future, it's the present as well. You must have seen a lot of companies and startups actually using technologies like React Native, Ionic, Cordova, and even Flutter to actually build their mobile apps. They do, and in even big companies, they do. So yes, that's the beauty. And you can build, just having the knowledge of web development, you can build your Android and iOS and desktop apps as well. So yes, mobile application development is now possible with technologies used in web development. So you must be really confused about what are these words: cross-platform, hybrid apps, and PWAs and native apps. What do these words mean? We are going to discuss all about that. Just give me a few more minutes, and I bet that you'll be clear about each one of these concepts. So basically, cross-platform apps basically means that a particular single app that can actually run on iOS as well, Android as well, and maybe desktop as well. So that's the meaning of cross-platform app development. So basically what happens, like let's take an example of React Native. In React Native, we develop our particular application using JavaScript. We use JavaScript as a code language, but it compiles down to, when if we are deploying our React Native app to Android, it compiles down to native Java or Kotlin code. If we deploy it to iOS, it compiles down to C Sharp, Swift. I forgot the language. So the Objective C and or Swift code. So yes, that's the beauty of it. So just by having knowledge of web development technologies, web technologies, you can actually build applications that run on mobile as well. And PWAs are not the actual mobile apps, but the websites which can access your mobile hardware, which can access, which you can store on your phone as well. The websites, it's so they give a look and feel of mobile applications, but they are websites. They can save the information, they can cache the information, and whenever you open that, you can access to them even if you don't have an internet connection. So that, yes, they are websites. So that's the whole beauty of it. So yes, just JS, like JavaScript ecosystem has developed so much over the past years that JavaScript is right now enough to build anything that you want. It's being used in IoT, it's being used in security, it's been used in automation, it's being used in hybrid app development, it's being used in Android, iOS, web development, and machine learning as well. You must have heard about TensorFlow.js and so many things. So yes, if you have chosen that you are going to make a career in web development, you have made a very, very good choice, because the field of web development is so vast and so full of opportunities that you are just going to love it. All right. So let me take an example of these PWAs and all these things which I was talking about. So Trivago's website is actually a PWA. You can actually just go to your Trivago's website on your mobile web browser and then turn off your internet connection, switch off your internet connection, and then refresh the page. You can actually see it working even without an internet connection. Pinterest, Tinder, OLX, Starbucks, Forbes, all these are PWAs. They are actually websites, but they give a look and feel of mobile application. Let's take another example of apps made using React Native. So I bet that every one of you present here do use Instagram, right? I do, and every one of us use. And Instagram is actually having a code base in React Native. So that's like even they are using web technologies. SoundCloud, Walmart, Bloomberg, all those apps are actually made using React Native. And let me tell you, React Native is like the apps which are developed using React Native. The developers use JavaScript, which is actually a web technology, and that's the future of web technology that you are seeing here. And that if that does not excite you, then I don't know what will. All right, so let's get started in this journey. So yes, this is just a normal advice from my side. Whenever you are starting a new journey, no matter if it's a journey of exploring any new technology, no matter if it's a journey, if it's a real journey, if you are going from home to market, always have a roadmap. Like let's say if I have to go from my home to one of the supermarkets close by, I would actually have a roadmap in my mind. So I would think that I'll get out of my home, then I'll take a right turn, then I'll go straight 400 meters, not exactly 400 meters, but I will have some sort of hints in my mind, some clues in my mind that then this particular area will come, and then from that I'll have to take a left, and then I'll reach my destination. So just imagine that if you did not know the particular roadmap and Google Maps was also not there and no one was there to ask, you will just get lost. It's as simple as that, and it's the reality of life. It's applicable to every field in life. If you are exploring any particular technology, any particular field, any particular profession, any particular domain, and you don't know where you are headed to, you're going to get lost because you don't know where to go. So whenever you start something, first thing is ask yourself, why am I doing this? Is it to explore new things? Is it because I want a new job? Is it because I want to switch that particular job? Is it because I want to have some skills, some extra skills on my, let's say, on my profile? Or is it because I want to build a side project? There can be endless reasons, but have that particular reason clear in your mind, because that will be your driving factor when you don't feel the motivation to do it. The reason why a lot of people, I don't know what's the exact number, but at least 99% of the people which I have met start new projects and never finish them, it's because they lack motivation after starting it. A lot of people says that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, but I feel that this particular quote is actually very very useless, because even if you start the journey, if you don't have the consistency and if you don't have the drive and motivation to keep going on that journey, it's completely worthless. You are just going to waste your time, and rather not do that. Instead of doing that, starting it and then giving up in between, it's just a waste of time. You could have used that time in somewhere else. Let's say you could have gone out with your friends, or you could have done something else. You could have watched Netflix or anything, right? So time is a very limited resource. You have to understand that, and there's not infinite time. So always have the clear answer to why. If you are clear with why you are doing this, then you will never lack the motivation. You will never feel like I'll do it tomorrow. Whenever you feel like giving up, you will always realize that I started out because I actually wanted to do this, and that will keep you going on. That was enough philosophy. I'm sorry for wasting your time, but anyways, okay. So let's get started with this journey. And as I was saying, the first requirement before starting any journey, let's say I'm going outside my home, the why might be I want to buy some vegetables, I want to buy some groceries. So that's my why. I won't just go halfway and return back that I'm not feeling like it. It's very hot. I'll go to the market and buy those groceries because I know I need those groceries to make my food. And the same thing applies in every field of life. So the second thing is roadmap. Once your why is clear, have a clear roadmap. So After going from my home, now I know that I'm going to this particular supermarket to buy some groceries. Now I will keep in mind that first I'll have to take this right, then left, and then I'll reach the supermarket store. And the same goes in web development as well, and every other field. So in this journey, let me give you a proper roadmap which you can actually follow and not get lost in the huge ocean of endless technologies. Let me give you the list of technologies which are there in web development. It will be so overwhelming. There are so many. First of all, CSS frameworks like Bootstrap, Materialize CSS, Bulma, and then so many things. Skeleton CSS. There are so many front end frameworks like, let's say, React.js, Vue.js, AngularJS, and Meteor.js, and so many. There are so many frameworks for backend, let's say sales, or like there are so many. The list is endless. Then how to prevent yourself from getting lost in it? By having a clear roadmap. Choose what all you need to learn. You can do anything, but not everything. All right. So first of all, I'm going to go through this real quick, but I hope that this video is going to be saved in this particular channel as well. So you can refer to this video anytime you want by on the channel of Girl Up She United, and you can watch this video again. So if you want to revisit the concept, and if you have any doubts, you can just ask me on the chat section. I'm looking forward to the chat section continuously. So yes, do feel free to ask. Like, let me know if everything is clear right now, and then I can maybe move forward. And in the time being, I can drink some water as well, because I generally get tired if I speak a lot. So drinking water is actually been actually very important. So yes, if you have any doubts till now, and if you want to ask me anything, you can just hit it up on the chat section. All right, so I think everything is clear right now, and we didn't discuss too much, right? And I think everything should be very clear till now. All right, so here I'm going to give you a very quick and a very simple roadmap on how should you proceed with this journey. First of all, make your toolkit ready. Make a proper development environment. So another simple example, whenever you are going to do something, you need some toolkit, you need some environment. Let's suppose you're going on a picnic. You will need some lunch, you will need some water bottles. Let's say you are going on hiking, you will need some necessary items which are required for hiking. You'll need a lot of water, and then so on. Let's say you are a carpenter and you are going on some work. You will need your own tools, right? You'll need the hardware and all those things. So similarly, in web development as well, or in any particular technology, you need a proper environment. Let's say for your Android development, I hope you will be knowing that you need Android Studio and a good laptop. And so similarly, in the web development, here's your toolkit which you should have before starting your journey. First of all, a good laptop. Not necessarily good, but yes, a laptop is a laptop or a PC or any machine on which you can code. Second, a good web browser. I would suggest Chrome, but yes, you can go with Firefox as well. Actually, Firefox and Edge are a bit better when it comes to RAM extensiveness, because they don't eat up that much RAM. You must have heard a lot of things about Chrome. Chrome eats up a lot of RAM, but yes, still the dev tools of Chrome are actually super amazing. So yes, I would suggest Chrome. If you but if you want something faster, maybe you can go with Firefox as or Edge. And the third and the final requirement is a good text editor. Do not use Notepad or Notepad plus plus, please. I don't like Notepad plus plus. It's so bad. But anyways, I always prefer VS Code, and I would recommend you to use VS Code as well. But you can go with any particular text editor. It can be Atom, it can be Sublime, or any other IDE or text editor. And those the two fourth and fifth points which are mentioned on your screen, FTP or SSH tool or cloud storage, these two are optional when you're a beginner. And actually, you might not even need it at any point in your journey, because these SSH tools were actually required a lot while using previous technology, but now you can have a lot of alternatives as well. But yes, you will need to have a basic knowledge about what FTP and what SSH is. But yes, you can ignore that completely for now, and in future that will automatically become clear to you. All right. The second thing is, first thing, a quick revision. First thing was to a coder's toolkit. In your toolkit, you must have a laptop, you must have an internet connection, you must have a web browser, and you must have a text editor. Those four things, and that's it. Second thing is lights, camera, code. Now you can get started. So I would suggest, like, whenever you're starting your journey with web development, you always have a choice between these two things, whether you want to start off your journey with front end development, or you want to start your journey with using in back end development. But I generally recommend that it's always better to start off with front end development, because it's always better to have that particular knowledge. Even in the back end development, you might require some things like which are related to front end and all those things. So according to me, like, you might not follow it exactly, but according to me, it's always good to have these basic three languages, or let's say technologies, clear in your mind, at least the basics of them: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The basics of them. So you, first of all, you can get yourself familiar with these three things. HTML5. In HTML5, you won't need to cram everything. You know, won't need to by heart everything. All you need to do is just get yourself familiarized with these particular tags which are most often used. Let's say h1, h2, h3, h6, and p tag, image tag, anchor tag, and some most commonly used tags: attributes, links, images, tables, and layouts. uh, then go for CSS. Learn the basics of CSS, like selectors, declaration, property and value, and then position, the types of positions, the type of display, and so on. The basics. I would recommend that you can get the basics of HTML and CSS clear within 3 weeks. 3 weeks is, I think, a lot of time to actually get started with it and actually make your basics very, very clear. So yes, I would recommend this book as well. The book's name is HTML and CSS by John Duckett. That was the book which I used when I was starting my journey, and that is the book which you can use as well. I have a link to that particular book in the later on slides. So yes, you can access to that anytime. I'll let you know after the end of these slides. And after learning HTML and CSS, now you are capable of making some nice and visually attractive websites. But your websites are not dynamic yet. So there is a very, very good analogy that says that HTML is like your bones and your skeleton, like it's the skeleton of any website. CSS is like your skin and your muscles, which actually makes you look good and makes you look like, let's say, if you were seeing skeletons walking on the street, you will get scared, right? So CSS is actually like your skin of your website. Then javascript is actually those muscles which help you move around. So just like a human being is made skeletons, and the outer appearance and the muscles which helps him move around. So same thing is, HTML is your skeleton of any website, CSS is your design and the styles of that website, and JavaScript is the thing, as a magical thing which adds magical properties to your website. Like, it can be dynamic. So let's say I click on this, then what happens? Let's say I load this, and then this happens, and something like that. So yes, first of all, get your HTML and CSS basics clear. Second thing is, learn the basics of JavaScript. You can learn the basics of JavaScript. Don't jump into Node.js or any other framework now. You can learn what are data types, string, numbers. The JavaScript is actually loosely types, but still there, even in the loosely types, there are some data types, right, which it gets automatically converted into. So you do have a knowledge of that. Have some basics knowledge of functions, conditionals, loops, and so on. No event handling, like what will happen when you click on click event listener, on hover event listener, on mouse up, on key down, on key up, on mouse down, on active, and there are so many event listeners. Just have a basic of knowledge about all those event listeners. Then have a little bit of knowledge about JavaScript object notation, JSON. It's very, very simple, but have a clear understanding of what JSON is. And then if you want, you can, right now these days nobody uses jQuery, but like they do, many companies still use jQuery, but yes, having a little bit of knowledge in jQuery at your initial level can actually help you make your task very very simple. So in JavaScript, for example, in JavaScript, to append a particular child dynamically to your HTML DOM, which is document object model, you might need 5 or 6 lines of code. But from jQuery, you might just need one line of code, which is dot append. That's a direct method. So yes, jQuery can make your life simple initially, and you might need to learn that. But there's no hard and fast rule that you actually need to learn jQuery, because jQuery is also less used these days because there are so many other frameworks like React.js, AngularJS, Vue.js, and so on. So this is an optional thing. Learn the basics of any design software. This will actually help you get started with your front-end development projects, because let's say just the basics of anything like Figma or Illustrator or Photoshop or Sketch or Adobe XD or anything. But yes, it will help you a lot in getting started, because let's say if you're working on a real life project, and that project is actually um, some website for some company. There will be a designer. That particular designer will give you the designs for the website, but you can't disturb that particular designer for every little thing. Let's say you want to ask the hex code, by the way, is the color code. So there are various ways to notate for the notation of color. One way is RGB, another way is hex code, and so on. So let's say I want to know which color is this background. So I can't just disturb the designers for these many little details. Like, so it will be good if you know the basics of any design softwares, which can help you understand like how this design is implemented, and do the basic things yourself, so that you don't have to disturb the designer a lot. So yes, after doing these four basic things, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and the basics of any design software, now you can call yourself a web designer, and you can actually get a lot of freelance projects. And the third step now is a quick revision. First of all, make your environment ready, make your toolkit ready. In your toolkit, what all things were there? First of all, a good laptop, a good internet connection, um, a good laptop, internet connection, web browser, and a text editor. Second thing was getting yourself ready to code, like getting started with front end development. So you need to have your basics clear with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and the basics of any design software, so that you can work independently, so that you can actually know how the designs are implemented. And the third point is deploy. Learn how to deploy your website. So now you can call yourself a web designer, because you have the basics of knowledge of any design software. You know how to code in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So the thing is, now you are actually able to design your websites. You can code out your website, you can develop your websites. So now, since you have made your own website, you should know how to deploy it. So learn the basics of deployment. Before going, it can be anything, like you can deploy your static websites to GH pages. It's completely for free, and there are so many alternatives as well. You can host your websites on some hosting service like HostGator, or any other particular thing. But yes, have some knowledge, deploy. Or like, let's say if you are a beginner in web development, a very good task for you would be just make a portfolio website for yourself, just like madhavbahl.tech. By the way, this is a template, but yes, don't use templates in the beginning. Just make a portfolio website for yourself, and deploy that website. Have a particular domain name registered under your name, and deploy that your website to that particular domain name. So after doing that, you will also know the basics of deployment, and now you can actually feel proud of yourself, because you know how to develop a website from scratch, and how to make it publicly available out there on the internet for anyone to access. All right. So the next steps before going forward would be just learn the basics of Git or any other version control. No, just forget about this. Just forget about this line that I ever said that any other version control. do learn Git. So Git is the most widely used version control system. If you don't know what a version control system is, or what these particular technologies are, like what Git and GitHub is, you can actually visit my YouTube channel. I recently did a webinar on open source and getting started with Git and GitHub, where you can actually learn a lot about Git and GitHub. So yes, you can visit this particular, you can just go to my channel and you can access this video. All right, so next thing is SSH. You might need to learn a little bit about SSH. And by the way, SSH stands for secure shell. Basically, it's a magic using which you can access someone else's computer. So you must be right like this. Hey, Madhav, why do we need to access someone else's computer? Let me explain. Don't take me wrong. Like you, I'm not telling you to access somebody else's computer, but what I'm saying you is the machine where you are going to deploy your website, basically the server, it can be on GoDaddy, it can be on, let's say, DigitalOcean, it can be on any other service. There are so many hosting services. It can be on AWS, it can be on Azure, it can be on basic websites like 000 web host, it can be on HostGator, it can be on InMotion, and there are so many things. But you might, yeah, if you, for every little deployment, if you need to open their website and use their UI, then it's going to waste a lot of your time. But if you have that SSH, if you have that secure shell connection to their computer, their machine, which they let you access, then you can just open your terminal, or you can open your command prompt and just get your deployment done within a few seconds. And you can do a lot of things. You can change the files which are present on the server, and so many things. So yes, it's completely optional. All these things are completely optional, but I would really recommend having a basic knowledge about SSH, and then learn the basic terminal usage or the command prompt in Windows. But I would really recommend that you go through, just have a let's say dual boot in your system, and install Ubuntu in your system, or install any Linux distro, and just learn the basic terminal usage. It will help you a lot in future. So let me give you a very good resource for learning this particular thing. Just go to Google and type in these keywords, which is the command line by William, the Linux command line. Yes, it was the Linux command line by William Shorts. So this awesome guy, William Shorts, just wrote a book on Linux command line, which is very amazing. And trust me, you're going to have a lot of fun while reading this book and while implementing the things which are given in this book. So yes, just go through this book. It's a free book. You can actually download it directly from here, and you are going to love this book. So next thing is, all these things are basic, and you can learn the basics of cPanel. You might not even require it anytime. Like if you're not into PHP, that you might not even require. So you can actually skip these steps, but it will be good if you actually know all these things. But yes, if you are clear with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and the basic design software, first of all, make a portfolio website for yourself. Second, register a domain name and link to your hosting account. Third, host your website. That will be a very good start of your journey in web development. So now, as a web designer, you've got a lot of opportunities. You can build simple, attractive websites for startups. There are a lot of startups, and you might know that every day new startup comes in Indian ecosystem itself. And you can actually work for those startups to build a website for them, and they actually give good compensation. It's actually somewhere around 10,000 to 30,000 for making a website, and that's good enough for making a simple website, because making a website does not take too much efforts. You can actually, I have actually made a lot of static websites in hours itself, within hours, and it does not take too much time. And then you can build UIs for your own personal projects. You can build a lot of your own side projects. You can do internships. You can, just for practice, you can convert PSD into HTML and CSS. So for practice, just go to Google and type free web design PSDs or free UI free web UIs or something like that, and you can just try to implement these things. Or maybe something else can be there, like you can actually try cloning these websites. Just go to any website and try cloning the interface of that website. So that's how I got started initially. In my initial days, in my second semester, trust me, I cloned 5 to 10 websites which were there. I cloned, first of all, I cloned this Get Postman is the software, if you are not um, aware about it. So I just cloned it just for my learning purpose. I did not host it anywhere. I did not put it on my GitHub. I just practiced my skills by cloning already existing websites. Fifth thing is, you can actually work for a company for full time, or you can actually be a freelancer. All right, so this is the time for decisions. But before going to that, let me have a look at the chat section since I haven't looked at it. Okay, so thanks a lot, Palkita. She said that she's loving the session. And thanks a lot, Shrishti and Bhargav. Thank you so much. So Rachit just said that the rest of the world is surely missing a great session. And the way you are expressing such complex stuff is really great. Thanks a lot, Rachit. It really means a lot. Thank you. So yes, now it's the time for decisions. If you have any doubt till now, again, I'll take a break of 1 to 2 minutes. You can ask anything in the chat section, and I'll be back in 1 minute. All right, so it's the time for some important decisions. Till now, again, let me revisit the concepts which we have already done. First, you have your development environment ready. Second, you know the basics of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and a design software. Third, you know how to deploy your websites. Now is the time to actually make some important decisions. And this is what you need to decide. Are you going to go for front end development now? Are you going to go for server side programming? Are you going to learn databases, or are you going to get familiarized with some frameworks? So these are the four options available to you now. First of all, you can go with front-end HTML, CSS frameworks like Bootstrap or Bulma or Materialize or Foundation or Skeleton and so on. There are so many of them. I would definitely recommend this thing. Like after doing HTML, CSS, and JS, just go with Bootstrap or Materialize. These are very, very simple to do. So Rashmi just asked me a very, very interesting question. So she asked that how much time does it take to learn full stack development? To be honest, like if you even devote your whole life, still you might miss out a lot of libraries and frameworks. So first of all, you cannot learn everything. So that's the basic, like just keep that in mind. You cannot learn everything, but you can learn as you go. You can learn what all things you actually require for your job, or for your for any particular thing that you want in life. So that was the first thing, because there are endless technologies. First of all, there are endless languages, there are endless technologies, there are endless frameworks, there are endless libraries, and so on. But the good thing about it is, for the basics of full stack development, the basics, the like the bare basics which you need for making a web application which has a backend, which has a front end, you can get it done within 1.5 to 2 months, and that's a very small time. So yes, Rashmi, you can get started within 1.5 months. So she asked me that I am a fifth semester student. Is it the right time to start web development? Yes, it's a very, very good time to start web development. But do keep in mind that you should also do competitive programming or problem solving as well. Because at the end of the day, when you will be sitting for your placements or your coding interview, it will they might look at your projects in web development in your second technical round, or in your HR round, or maybe somewhere afterwards. But basically, first thing will be your coding round and your problem solving whiteboard interview and pen paper interview and so on. So yes, first thing is you should be able to solve some problems. So no matter what domain you choose to learn right now, but if you are in fifth semester, do fix some time, at least daily or at least once in 2 days. It can be 30 minutes for once in 2 days. Do spend some time in problem solving and learning the basics of data structures and algorithms, because that is very, very important. Okay, so let's not go off topic and let's continue our discussion. So now front end on CSS frameworks, you can go with any one of them. I would recommend this one. After that, you can either go more deep into front end by learning React or Angular or Vue, or you can start off with server side programming like PHP, Django, Ruby, Node.js. I would definitely recommend Node.js. It's super, super simple to learn and it's very, very interesting. So yes, along with it, you will need to learn databases as well. So if you are going with PHP, you might want to learn MySQL. If you are going with Node.js, you might want to learn Mongo. So there is this whole tech stack called MERN, which stands for Mongo, Express, React, and Node. Express is used for routing. So yes, you can maybe get familiarized with that particular full stack tech stack, which is MERN or Mean Stack. Okay, so Kiran just asked me, how do you clone a website? So by actually coding out the HTML and CSS, it's why do we, so instead of asking for how, first ask why. Why do we clone a website? For our practice only. We should not clone any website for commercial usage, only for our practice. So let's say I am new to web development and I want to test out my skills in web development for I just want to test out my skills. So I can just pick up any particular existing website and I can clone it. You are going to do nothing with that clone, but you can feel proud that you actually cloned the website. How do you clone it? Simple. Just try to implement those particular designs, code it out yourself. Use those HTML, CSS, and JavaScript skills that you learned earlier to clone that particular website. All right. So yes, now like once you know what to do. In the meantime, you can also learn these particular site technologies. So as I said, Git and GitHub, SSH, and basic command line. For command line, you can go ahead with this book. I definitely recommend this one, The Linux Command Line by William Shorts. And then you can learn some CSS precompilers like SAS or SCSS or less. Right now in my projects, like I really recommend using SAS. Like it's much better than CSS. Then you can learn how to learn about REST services or APIs, and then you can learn about HTTPS and SSL certificate, how to add SSL certificate in your website. So if you're working in professional environment, you will need these things. So just learn about these things. Then now that you have much more knowledge than before, you can actually get started by making your own web application, and then you can host your website using a dedicated server or some app hosting. So this is for your full stack application, not your static website. So for full stack application, you can use Heroku, Dio, which is DigitalOcean, AWS, or Azure, or any other thing. You can also learn about deploying tools, and you can learn the Linux command line, and you can also explore a little bit about CI/CD pipelines and all those things. All right, so Shruti just asked me that I am a web designer currently learning React, have thought of learning MERN stack development. I'm 16 years old and I'm in Shruti, you are in the perfect path. Like, trust me, you're just 16 years old. Like, when I was a 16-year-old child, like, I did not even know that there is something like web development. Even like, I legit did not know what the hell is web development. So yes, you are not at the right path. You are in the perfect path. Yes, go ahead and learn one stack development. It will be really amazing for you, and you can actually start earning even in your early days. Like if you are 16, I can say that you must not have even started your college life, and you can start earning even before that. So that would be super amazing. All right, so opportunities. Since we are talking about how to earn, and I'm telling Shruti that she can start earning, let's talk about opportunities which you have as a web developer. So now that you know all these things, full stack web development, React JS, and some database, you can actually use these opportunities. You can create simple to advanced basic web applications. You can create backend APIs. You can teach your fellow developers, just like I do, just like I am sharing my knowledge with you guys. You can share your knowledge with others. So that will help you build a strong profile as well. Plus, that will help build the community. Always remember that we all lift by rise. We rise by lifting each other up, and that's the basic duty of each and every individual, to give back to the community. And since we are talking about giving back to the community, kudos to the work. Like, great job with the work you guys are doing. The organizer of Girl Up She United, Yashika and Harshita, great job with this. And thanks a lot for
Thank you so
organizing.
much.
All right, so yes, and then you can work with
Thank you for
servers.
coming, sir.
Yeah, then you can work with databases, and then you can work with network security. You can get a great job, you can do freelancing, and you can even start your own business. Let's say your mom or dad has his or her own business. You can make a website for him or her. You can move your business to the next level. So these were the basic steps. You can see this roadmap of map. So first of all, the basics is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. After you are done with it, you can make some choice whether you are going to go with CSS or JavaScript. If you're going to go with CSS, learn responsive web development, choose some frameworks like Foundation, Bootstrap, Materialize CSS. Oh, by the way, this roadmap was made by a super amazing guy. Uh, I have mentioned the link to his GitHub repository here. So this is the amazing roadmap which he developed. So special thanks to him, like amazing roadmap. All right, so we still have a lot of things to discuss. So yes, you can go through this roadmap for front end and back end. And then the advanced concept. After you are clear with all these things, you can actually go into the advanced concepts like managing your own CMS, or making your own mobile application development using the web technologies like React Native, Ionic, Cordova, and so on. So basically, a native application is the one which is made using the native languages for that particular device. So for example, Android uses Java, XML, or Kotlin, but you can actually make, using React.js, you can make using React Native, you can make native applications using web technologies. You can write down an app in JavaScript which actually compiles down to Java. All right, and the next step can be, so these are the next steps. So with this, we can conclude the first phase of our webinar, and then we'll be left with just one more discussion, which will be the technologies that you should learn in 2020 and 2021. So yes, but before that, Bhargav asked me a question, that how and where to apply for web development internships. Could you name some good places to apply for internships? There are endless. So first of all, I would say that if you are going for freelancing, try out AngelList, or try out Freelancer, or try out there are so many things for freelancing. But if you want internships, you can go, again, AngelList has the list of startups. You can look for a startup which is looking for your particular skills, and you can apply for it. You can get a lot of opportunities there. You can use Glassdoor, you can use Monster, Indeed, and LinkedIn Jobs as well. But yes, AngelList is good for startups. All right. So your next steps should be, keep learning and exploring. Always remember this one particular thing, that no matter, even if you are a full stack developer, you still need to keep learning and updating your skills, because things change very dynamically in this domain. So the particular technology in which you are good at right now, and which is into the market right now, might be outdated within a few months. So you need to keep yourself updated. You can focus on your career, you can make a good profile, you can go back and learn another stack. Like, let's say if you're good at MERN, why not go for mean as well? You can learn about other domains like ML, CV, deep learning, AI, competitive, etc. You can keep yourself up to date with new technologies. You can do some research. You can learn some other languages. You can increase your social circle. You can follow some great people like me. Okay, just kidding. Okay, so yeah, you can follow some great people like Tane, and there are so many people on LinkedIn. I am just a beginner, so so don't, like, no need to follow me. But yeah, anyways, there are so many great people out there. You can follow their content, and yes, you can get inspired by them, and you can keep learning. So, when we talk about learning, this is the rule which I recommend 20-10. So, learn 20%, learn, and 10%, or like not percent, 20 parts implement learning and 10 parts implementation. So, what I recommend all of you guys is every month plan to learn a new library or a new framework or a new technology or a new domain. Spend first 20 days of the month doing some online course. So just go to Udemy. On Udemy the courses are available for so cheap, like for 700 rupees or for 400 rupees you can get a full course of 40 hours, and that's no course can be more cheaper than that. And you can enroll in that course and you can try finishing that course in then 20 days, and the next 10 days you can actually try to implement a side project. And using this rule you can actually get familiarized with many technologies. Okay, so from here we'll take a break of 1 more minute, and then this webinar is just my content is just remaining for 15 minutes. So don't worry, I'll not extend it. We will be done within by 1:15, and I'll not take too much of your time. All right, so let's get started again. I'm really sorry, like I get really tired while speaking a lot like this much. So yes, I keep on taking 1 minute breaks. So I guess that's good for you as well. You get some time to grasp the knowledge which I'm giving you. All right, so let's get started. So until we meet next time, you can actually, if you're a beginner in web development, you can actually try doing this book, HTML and CSS by John Duckett. It's a free ebook and it's a really good one. Now coming on to the last section for today, the technologies which can help you in 2020 and 2021, which are completely in the market these days, and which are totally amazing. So yes, first thing is React, Redux, and Webpack. Try out these three things. React plus Redux, like there is a lot of opportunity for React developers out there, and without a doubt, React is currently ruling the tech industry. React and Vue are on the greatest, like they are increasing exponentially. So it is so much used and it is so easy to learn. Trust me, when I was starting with React, it took me just 1 day to get familiarized with the basics of React. Just 1 day. That's as simple as that. And I can say that I simply love React and it makes my life so much easier. So currently React and Vue are the two most famous JavaScript libraries for front-end development. And trends shows that they are going to remain like this for a lot of time. So these are some trends from 2019. So I've took this image from 2019, but yes, the stats are going up continuously. So how to learn? If you want to learn it for free, you can just check out any popular YouTube tutorial. You can just type React tutorial and you can start learning. If you are willing to pay for around 400 to 500 bucks, you can just go on this complete React developer course. It's a good one. It's by Andrew Mead, and he's a superb. He's a very amazing instructor. So yes. Second thing is GraphQL. So basically the REST services are actually seen as something which were used before. These days GraphQL is coming in the market very fast. And what is GraphQL? Basically it's an open source data query and manipulation language for APIs and a runtime for fulfilling queries, and so much, like we are not understanding anything. So basically let me explain you in a very simple manner. GraphQL. So just like there was REST APIs, GraphQL is the future of API development. It has a lot of benefits over REST APIs. It is much more scalable, it's much more extensible, and so on. So if you are into backend development, you should explore GraphQL. And GraphQL is gaining popularity very, very fast. And yes, you can be ready for it. If you are willing to pay, you can go with this course, Modern GraphQL Bootcamp. Otherwise, you can just watch this free YouTube tutorial. It's also a good one. Third thing is progressive web apps. So PWAs are gaining popularity in very fast manner. Where to learn PWAs, follow some simple concepts like caching, like using hardware's push notification and so on. But yes, you can do that. You can use it. So there's a huge developer community out there, and you can just use this particular tutorial to get started with PW. And homework for you can be, first of all, make your portfolio website. Second, convert your portfolio website into a PWA, progressive web app. And the fourth thing is React Native or Flutter or both, anything which allows you to create mobile applications. Here's a cool playlist for React Native and more things which are gaining popularity these days, Rust and WebAssembly. If you want to explore this, I've given some links for that as well. No, I have not given this, but you can just go to YouTube and search for some tutorial videos. So here is the challenge time for all of you guys. So this is my challenge to you. For 50 days, commit yourself that you will be learning something daily. You will be coding daily, at least for 1 hour for the next 50 days. And to make it more interesting, you are going to post it on LinkedIn that today I learned this and this. If you have written some code, maybe you can share the snippet of that code. If you have written, made a new project, you can share that project. If you have attended a webinar, let's say this webinar, you can take a screenshot from any one of my slides and you can post it on LinkedIn that today I attended Madhav's webinar and I got to learn this, this, and this. So there are immense benefits of doing this. First of all, you will get some motivation to learn new things daily. Secondly, you will build a brand and credibility on LinkedIn or Twitter. You will get to connect with lots of people, and plus the people who will be watching your posts daily. You might have seen many people posting this 100 days of code, 50 days of code, 30 days of JavaScript, and so on. So these are challenges. Build your brand. Like, let's say I'm a recruiter and you are posting 50 days of code daily for the next 50 days. So if I'm looking for your posts daily and I'm a recruiter and now I need to recruit someone for web development in my particular company, I would definitely recommend you because I have seen you work daily. So that's how this challenge helps you out. So yes, there's a challenge for you right now. As soon as this webinar ends, just go to LinkedIn and post what all did you learn from this webinar, and do tag me. I would love to see. Secondly, for the next 50 days, learn something at least for 1 hour daily, and at the end of the day, post it on LinkedIn what all did you learn with this hashtag 50 days of code, and do tag me. I would really love to see what all are you learning these days. All right, so since Divya and Swapnil asked, please share the link in the chat box. Actually, I don't think that sending links is allowed in YouTube. I'm not sure about that. If you can see, I've sent it. If you can see the link, do let me know. But yes, as far as I know, YouTube does not allow sending links. But yes, this is a simple link, like madhavbahl.tech/webdev-webinar. All right, so now let's see. I think we have a few questions which I missed. So first of all, Harshita asked me that I know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and the basics of PHP and MySQL and OOPS. What should I go for now and for a tech stack and be job ready? So first of all, first thing is, with these particular technologies itself, you can start getting jobs. Using these things itself, you can apply for freelancing, you can apply for internships. Second thing is, if you're going to learn a new thing, I would recommend some new technologies, because PHP and MySQL these days, I'm not saying they're outdated, but the thing is, new technologies are coming up very fast. I'm not saying that they are going to replace PHP anytime soon, but in future, within next 10 or 5 or 10 years, I can say that they will be having a lot more opportunities than PHP. So yes, do learn some new tech stacks like Mean or Mern or like Mongo, React, Node, and so on. Or you can even go for some newer technologies like Golang, Flutter, uh, and things like that, or Dino, and there are so many things. All right, so Bhargav just asked that once we learn the required tools and technologies, how to apply for full stack developer roles in product based companies like this. So again, as I told in the starting as well, these MNCs actually don't take for a particular role. They take for SD, and there they actually look at your coding skills and your system design skills and all these things. So the thing is, if you are aiming for that particular MNC, you will have to focus more on competitive programming, DSA, problem solving, and these things, and the basics of computer science like DBMS, theory of computation, compiler design, graph theory, DSA, and so on. So yes, if you are aiming for that, you will have to spend a lot more time in problem solving. So Swapnil just asked me, I know HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, SAS, Python, Django, MySQL, GitHub, and now I started with Django REST API. What should I learn now to go for a tech stack or be job ready? You already are job ready. You know so many things, Swapnil. You already are job ready, and you should just start applying for the jobs. You have a lot of knowledge. So yes, you are job ready, but as soon as you like, even while doing your job, keep updating your skills, keep learning new skills as well, as I told in the previous answer as well. So Manoj just asked me that competitive programming versus development. I would definitely say both of them. Like, do both of them, because at the end of the day, in the company, you will be doing development. You are going to become a software developer. Just because the interviewer is looking for someone who is good at DSA does not mean you don't have to do development. So to get into the company, you will have to be good at problem solving and competitive, but to sustain in the company, you will have to be good at development as well. So yes, I would definitely recommend do both of the things. Just divide your plan your day in such a manner. 30, even if you are in third year, you can just plan something in the day, like just always, first of all, use your calendar, like use any tool, let's say Outlook or Google Calendar or something else, and make a meeting with yourself. It's called an appointment. Create an appointment with yourself. Let's say 9 to 9:30 or 9 to 10, I am going to learn new skills in development, and 10 to 11, I am going to practice on my competitive programming. Create a meeting with yourself and keep those 2 hours undisturbed. If you can't devote 2 hours, make half hour of both. If you can't even devote half hour of both, and you just have 30 minutes for learning, one day do development, next day do CP, next day development, next day CP, and 30 minutes. But make sure that those 30 to 60 minutes are undisturbed. Nobody disturbs you. Keep your phone in your in some other room or anywhere else. You're not going to open Instagram. You're not going to open LinkedIn at that time. You are just going to be there learning something new, and that's how you manage things. Phew, all right, so I think we are done now. Oh, there's one more question. Let me see.
Uh, Sir, I
Yeah,
personally want to ask you one question.
yeah,
Yeah, sir. So I see many students in LinkedIn, like they are just documenting their everyday learning and
yeah.
they all are inspired by you. So I want to know how it can be beneficial for the student, like if they're just documenting their everyday learning.
Sure. So, first of all, just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, so documenting your journey is something which is absolutely necessary for every one of us, because at the end of the day, no matter what our aim is, either we are looking for job, either we are looking for a good job, or we are looking for some freelance projects, or we are looking to build our brand. So no matter what your end goal is, if you are documenting your journey and other people are seeing it, as I told before as well, people do see your efforts and trust you. It builds credibility. It gives you recognition, because you see the chain reaction, right? Initially, I recommended a few people to take this 50 days of code challenge. 10 or 20 people took that challenge and started documenting their journey. Then 10 or 20 people saw them and they also started documenting their journey and they were inspired by them. And then they were, some other people were inspired by those people. And it's a chain reaction going on. So yes, first of all, it builds your brand. You are the one who are actually starting that particular thing. So it's going to build your brand. Secondly, it's going to get you recognition because people are going to get inspired by you. Third thing, it can get you recommendation as well because you are going to connect with a lot of people because you are posting things on LinkedIn daily. Let me give you a simple example. Let's say today, let's say I worked on some graph theory and I posted something about a graph theory on LinkedIn. Just don't just post that today I learned this. Post something informational about that particular thing. And then whenever you post, let's say I search DFS algorithm and or any other thing. So let's say that post comes across a person who is working on a similar technology or something similar, some similar thing. He's going to DM you. You are going to receive a lots of DMs and you are going to receive a lots of comments. So then he is going to ask his doubts and he is going to give you suggestions and feedbacks. It is going to improve your learning and it is going to help you make new networks. So fourth thing is it's going to help you increase your network. Fifth thing is you are going to learn a lot and you are going to stay consistent. It's going to act as a very, very motivating factor for you because now you have committed publicly that you are going to learn daily for the next 100 days. So it comes to your pride and ego and that now I have to do it. And because it comes to, not, I would not say pride and ego, rather it comes to your self esteem that now I have made a public commitment and I need to fulfill that commitment. So you can just take a small commitment of 30 days and after 30 days you will feel that it has already become your habit and now you will be a lifelong learner. Sixth thing is that it is going to get you credibility. People are going to see you and they are going to trust you. So with trust, I think seventh thing is it's going to get you trust of people that yes, he is learning daily. Eighth and the last thing that is coming to my mind right now is that it is going to get you so many opportunities because recruiters are there on LinkedIn. Recruiters are seeing that you are learning new things. And let's say if I'm a recruiter looking for a JavaScript developer and I already know someone who is posting something related to JavaScript daily, I will contact him because I am looking for a JS developer. So yes, these are the eight benefits which I can think of, and there can be endless benefits as well.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. So Divya just asked me that suggest on which platform we should start coding to overcome our fear of CP. I would say Lead Code is a good one. In you can practice beginner level problems on Lead Code or maybe Spoj. It's SPOJ. On Spoj, you can practice some beginner level problems. LeetCode has a better interface, so yes, I can suggest that one. But at the end of the day, trust me, the platform does not matter. Every platform, Hacker Earth, Hacker Rank, Code Chef, LeetCode, InterviewBit, Spoj, and there are endless. They all have a set of beginner level problems. Do practice, do pick up any one of that and start practicing. All right, so I think that's it. It's almost 1:15 as we said, and now we can conclude the session. If you have any more doubts, you can ask me.
Actually, Girlups United also had some questions to you, but actually, people
Okay.
already asked them. So there is one question that differs from them is what if I want to start with technical content writing?
Okay. So
So
to
how
get
can I
started with
start?
technical content writing, it's very, very simple. So yeah, got it. So it's very, very simple. Just think of, first of all, think of some topic which can actually help out people. And even if there are thousands of blogs out there, still you can write it because you will have a unique way of writing. Let's take an example of how to get started with Git and GitHub and open source. Just write an article on it, go to Medium or make your own. So now the second question comes is whether you want to have your own blog hosted or you want to write on some other blogging platform. I would suggest that for a beginner, it's very good to actually use any platform like dev.to or Medium or something like that. Medium is a very, very simple one. You just have to go to Medium and sign up using your Google account and you can start writing. So Now just have a look at other technical blogs. You can have a look at my blogs as well, how I structure those blogs, and just get some motivation. I'm not saying to copy. I would really feel bad if you copy from my blogs, but yes, you can actually take some inspiration. For example, this particular blog, like a practical roadmap for web development, you can just open it, and then you can see how have I structured this blog. You can get some inspiration from them, and then keep start writing. Like, it's a very good thing. It's very simple. And the next thing would be to take the decision on whether you want. So that's how you can actually publish your first blog. Second thing will be, as you keep publishing blogs, aim for some good publications like Code Burst, JavaScript in some normal English, plain English, JSIP, JavaScript in plain English, the startup, or there are so many Hacker Noon, and there are so many publications. So just put your blogs in some publication. Now, once you are already habitual of this thing, now comes the important decision whether you want to continue with Medium or Dev.to, or whether you want to host your own personal blog. Then you can actually host your own blog as well. So yes, that's how you can easily get started with technical writing. All right, so Divya just asked,
Okay,
suggest some
thank you,
sites
sir.
where we can apply for web dev paid internship. Angel List is a good one, Divya. You can find some startups, some openings in web development. Let me show you their interface as well. Angel List. You can just go to angel.co, and you can start finding these startup jobs, and then you can make an account and you can search for web development roles. Then I can say internshala is also good, but I don't really recommend internshala because like I have had some bad experiences with it. Like, people actually like, let's not talk about that, but yeah, I made some few websites, uh, but I was not paid for that and so on. But yeah, anyways, but yeah, there are a lot of things, like a lot of website, as I said, Indeed, Glassdoor, monster.com, Angel List, LinkedIn Jobs is very good. You can just search for web development role and you can find jobs in it. Let me give you a very simple example. Let's say let's say I go to LinkedIn, and then uh, let's say I go to job section. Just give me 1 minute. I'll open it. Web dev. Just give me 1 second. I don't know. My computer is hanging a lot these days. So yes, you can just go to web development and you can go to this job section, and you can find a lot of jobs here. And the best thing with LinkedIn is that it will also tell you that your profile matches with this job, and so on. So yes, you can apply through Angel List, Indeed, Glassdoor, and so many websites. Yes, that's it from my side. And if you have any more questions, feel free to ask.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. We are pleased to have you with us today.
Thanks a lot, Yashika. And it was my pleasure talking to everyone. And so let's have a look at this last question for today. Shruti just asked me that, is it good to have a YouTube channel as a developer or designer? Yes, definitely it's good, because the thing is, you want to stand out from the others while you are in, no matter in what profession you are in, and creating new things like writing a blog, or publishing a new tutorial video, or all these things. These are the things which are going to get you making, or maybe speaking in events, just like I am speaking right now. These small things are going to make the difference. These are the things which are going to make you stand out of the crowd. So yes, it's absolutely a good idea to have a YouTube channel as a developer or a designer. Okay, so that's it. Let's end it for today. And thanks a lot, Yashika and Harshita, for having me here. See you guys later.
Thank you so much,
Thank
too,
you,
sir.
sir. Thank you so much, sir.